So John and I just asked Angel to do this because she's magnificent. She was walking around. Okay, show us your back. Oh my word! Holy smokes! That is amazing! And she does not take steroids or any. Oh, look at that! That is amazing. Angel, bravo to you. Seriously, we're making her do this. She doesn't want to do this.
Thank you. We made her do it.
Okay, I'm sorry, but show your abs. Oh my word!
And this is a good.
That is too crazy.
This is a healthy body. She hasn't done anything extreme to do this.
Holy smokes! I can't get over this. Bravo to you.
Thank you, Angel. We forced her into that.
Okay.
So you can do it too. If Angel can do it, Alana can do it. Alana can do it too. Alana's doing it. Angel did it. And I'm going to jump in there in my own way.
Fatty to Fit, episode 2. Thank you for joining us. So the big question is, okay, I'm excited about this. How do I get started?
Well, Angel, what do you think? How do we get started?
I would suggest, so first of all, weigh in. So that means first thing in the morning, go pee, go poop if you need to, naked on a scale.
Woo!
So that it's consistent. I am all about eliminating the variables that you can with consistent weigh-ins. So that's how I weigh in every morning, mornings that I need to.
That was detailed.
And so that's what I would suggest. I would also suggest doing before photos, like we mentioned.
How often do you weigh in?
Once a week should be enough for weigh-ins. Usually if I'm not seeing a change in weight in a couple weeks, then we adjust things as far as calories go. But I would say once a week, same day of the week, same time in the morning, just be trying to eliminate all the variables that you can to be consistent. And then do before photos. Put on either a little slim pair of shorts or sports bra. It doesn't have to be a bikini, but something that you can compare, because even if you're not seeing big changes in the scale, with changes in nutrition and changes in workout, as far as going to the gym, your physique will change. Mm-hmm. And some people don't see changes on the scale, but photos can tell a story too. So
I see that. As much as I make jokes about it, I can see that it would be helpful.
And then I would say make a grocery list of items you need for meals for the week. I'm all about prepping meals for the week so that it's there, it's ready. John gets home from work, there's a meal that's ready in the fridge, because you get home, you're hungry, you're trying to find something, and you end up snacking and taking in all these extra calories that you don't need. So I always have meals ready to go, or at least food you can put together that's clean food ready to go. And if you're one that has to eat all the goodies that are in the house, get rid of them.
Yes.
Like it was Easter and the chocolate
Whatever
eggs were out, and for whatever reason, if the Angel can walk by those in a bowl and she's okay, I'm not. And I'll start grabbing those, and then there's a point where it's like, I'm done. So even today, we knew we were starting this. I said, let's put those in a jar. I put them up in the
out of sight.
Out of sight, I'm okay.
You're okay.
But some people are not out of sight.
They talk to me.
Ice cream would talk to me. So there's certain things I can't have here. So that's a good point.
So you know yourself. Know if you're that category that you could put it. I could bury it in the yard, and they would talk to me. I'm here, delicious. So know yourself and get rid of the things that tempt you.
Get rid of things.
I will do that. I already knew that was coming, so I ate everything. And I'm going on a diet next week. I gotta eat everything.
We've all done that.
Something I tell myself repeatedly is if I can walk by it in the store and not buy it, I can't eat it. So that's one of the hardest things, but it only takes a split second. You stand there in the store and you're like, oh, I really want that. Just don't grab it off the shelf, because if you don't buy it, you can't eat it.
That's right.
So
that's right. Okay.
That's another suggestion.
Detox the home. Okay, got that. And prepare your food ahead of time.
Now you talk about clean food. That used to really confuse me, because I was like, clean food. What is clean food? So let's
as
talk about
unprocessed as possible. So, I mean, all of our food is processed to a point, whether it be ground meat or chicken cut into breasts, or, I mean, oatmeal even goes through processing. Whey protein is kind of one of the more processed, healthier options, I would say, but most food that we eat is processed to a point, but limit the amount of ultra processed food. The less ingredients, or if there is no label with ingredients, you're probably better off with it.
So potatoes, air fried instead of French fries. You know, apple instead of apple pie.
Yeah.
I mean, those are obvious examples, but
Rice cakes instead of chips, even.
there you go.
They make a lot of flavors of rice cakes nowadays, and honestly, after my last show, I love Cool Ranch Doritos, so I got some Cool Ranch Doritos, had them on the way home, and I was like thinking, you know, they make ranch rice cakes that taste just as good as these to me, and they're so much lower calorie and on the healthier side of things.
I have to open my mind because I'm making faces as you talk about Doritos equals rice cakes. I need to open my mind. Okay, this is where where I'm at.
Even if you have cravings, I am about counting macros and making sure that, you know, fitting those cravings into my meal plan and into my diet so that I don't go off track. But that can be complicated.
Okay, I have a very serious question. The only time that I have been successful with weight loss, and it was after Mom died, I was scared, and I got down to 128 pounds at age 35.
I remember that.
For quite a long time, and then I ate a blizzard like 3 years into it, and it just all went to hell. But that's a whole nother thing. But the way I was successful was I ate, unfortunately, and it seemed okay, the same thing.
Yes.
Okay.
That's actually one of the easiest ways to stay on track, because you don't, once you count your calories for the first week or so with these meals, you know exactly what you're taking. It's called uniform eating, and John will tell you, I do that in the off season most of the time. Like, I have an idea of how many calories and things I need in my meal, and I tend to eat the same thing over and over and over.
But to do that, I guess my question for you is, to get to where you could do uniform eating, was there a step you did first to know how many calories you were taking?
You have to count them.
How did you count those?
You measure, do you? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
My FitnessPal is what I use.
Yes. Okay.
I've used Fitbit in the past because I had a Fitbit watch that did that. But I do like my FitnessPal, so.
Okay.
And, you know, how many calories do you, would you recommend in taking? Like, so
well, okay,
how much
for me, let's talk, I'm sorry to make it about me, but I want to lose weight. I'm 200, I think I'm 210. To lose weight, how many calories should I be taking?
That's a question for him, because he's always put me on target.
Well, so the reason I was posing that question is we were talking about, you know, just uniform eating, but uniform eating, it works really, really well. But I feel like for me, because I like to eat, the first step is getting your daily calorie allowance where you should be flying, right? If you're flying, I don't have a pilot's license, but I would imagine if you're flying, you need to kind of know where you're flying. So to get there, so with diet, calories are critical. So roughly 10 calories per pound of body weight. That's a good place to start for most people for weight loss. Now, we could say 10 pounds or 10 calories per pound of body weight, ideal body weight, but I like to just start with, honestly, 10 calories per pound of body weight. So for me, for Alana, around 200 pounds, we could start at 2,000 calories, that 10 times, 200, but that's probably going to be a little high, quite honestly, because it's not our ideal body weight. But generally, even though it might be a little higher, if we were to drop down to anywhere from 1,700 to 1,800 calories, that's probably going to be a place where we're going to lose weight, depending on our activity and age and gender. But that's where the weight tracking comes in, is I would start at 10 calories per pound of body weight, eat that for a week. If you lose half pound to a pound a week, great, stick with that. If you don't, make a small adjustment, maybe 50 to 100 calories a week, until you start to see some weight loss occurring. Eventually, you're going to find that sweet spot. For me, it's around 1,600, 1,650, 1,700 calories, but I'm in my 50s. Not as active as I used to be, so certainly at your activity level, your age, and your gender. Angel, with her activity level, can eat, a little more, I feel like, than I can at times. So, unless she's in a real cutting phase. So For you, I would probably recommend around, you could start that 2,000 calories a day, but
I'm willing to go lower.
I think 18, anywhere from 17 to 18 might be your sweet spot. And we really don't want to lose more than a couple pounds per week, honestly, because then we want to spare this. We want to spare lean muscle mass. We don't want to strip off muscle by an extreme diet. Anything, for everybody's benefit, anything I've done or Angel's done has been usually over a period of many months. So her leanness, this has happened over a period of many years, many months, not an extreme diet. So with you, with myself, we're shooting for that 1/2 pound to a pound of weight loss a week, maximum of 2 pounds. If we're going above 2 pounds, we need to adjust that caloric intake up by 50 to 100 calories a day.
So just to clarify, we were talking about the uniform eating, but you were saying that before you get to there, you basically have to educate yourself.
Yes.
How many calories that you're really taking in, because that was an eye-opener for me.
Yep.
When the times that I have, I was like, what? I ate that many calories by just eating this? And so by actually looking up each food item that I want to eat, I will see how many calories it is and see what I could ultimately incorporate in that uniform eating plan, which, as I said, I was surprised by, like, for example, nuts. I wouldn't eat just like 5 nuts. I would eat a thing of nuts, a handful of nuts, and other things. I was surprised at how few calories, and I could just go crazy. Like, for example, vegetables. I love broccoli. I love those things from Costco that you can get and you just steam a broccoli package. And I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to then pick some healthy foods. And I wanted to ask if you guys think this would be a good thing. Pick some healthy foods that I like in particular, like I do like chicken. And I know I have to be careful with how it's prepared. I do like tuna fish. I love vegetables. I just don't take the time to prepare them. So I was going to then look up how many calories they are.
Serving size. Pay attention to serving size too.
Serving size.
And definitely get a scale, a food scale.
All right.
It's essential for knowing how much you're actually taking in.
Should I be surprised if I'm hungry when I get to the right? I bet I'm eating way more than 2,000 calories a day. I mean, I'm not like eating at McDonald's every day or anything like that, but when I go through the kitchen, there's something on the table, I'll eat that without thinking.
I call that mindless eating.
Yes.
I'm an expert in mindless eating. Getting home from work and eating 200 to 300 calories before dinner.
Right.
But going back to your question, at the end of the day, like maybe when I'm going to bed, if my calories are on target, usually when I go to sleep, I might be a little hungry, like I could eat. Not ravagingly hungry, but I find that when we're going to do the structure that Angel will talk about 5 or 6 meals per day, depending on how many calories we have to work with. I find that during the day, I'm actually pretty satisfied. But if I go to bed or wake up hungry, I'm like, okay, that's probably about right, because then you're kind of tapping into your fat cells as you're sleeping. And we want energy, with what you do, what Angel does, what I do. I need to be able to think during my workday. If I'm hitting a low-calorie slump, it's harder for me to really think as effectively as I'd like to. So I like to get into that caloric deficit in the evening when I'm going to sleep. Doesn't matter at that point.
That's an interesting point. Maybe would it be a good idea for me if I start to feel hungry and I'm tired, instead of staying up and watching Netflix, maybe I should just go to bed?
Oh man,
I do that all the time.
Huge.
At this point, I'm hungry every night.
Yeah.
So
Because again, you are about to do a competition.
Yes,
and we just want to clarify.
I'm a week
this.
out from a bodybuilding show. I'll do figure, and this is the second one that I've done this year. I did one about 4 weeks ago, and wanted to come in a little bit tighter, a little bit leaner, a little bit better. And so cut calories after that last show.
Just a slight cut though.
Yes. So I was eating 1,700 going into the last show with cardio and workouts and everything else mixed in, losing consistently, but then I kind of leveled out, and so I dropped to 1,600. And I've been on 1,600 calories since the last 4 weeks and consistently losing on that. So when you're eating in a calorie deficit, so essentially you're losing weight, you are in fact starving your body to the point where it's having to rob from its stores. So I'm hungry every night.
So you
I
don't,
tell John all the time,
so-
eat some vegetables, you know,
Oh.
celery, carrots, salad. I eat a lot of salad, bulk things,
So you drink
low
a lot,
calorie dressings. Water. I'll tell him all the time, drink water, drink water. He's like, what do I eat? I'm hungry. And I'm like, drink water.
I can hear him. The same thing as a little boy. I'm hungry.
I'll say I'm starving, and she'll look at me like, "You're not starving." I understand.
I mean,
So you go to bed
reference-
sometimes?
Oh, all the time I'm hungry
Okay.
when I go to bed.
So
That's when you're burning fat.
That's
Yeah.
what he always says.
That's how I always tell her. That's how you know you're burning fat.
okay.
And for reference on how much water I drink, now I've worked up to this and been very consistent over the last 4 or 5 months. I'll drink a 40-ounce water bottle between each meal, and so
Wait a second.
I drink a couple
Between each meal?
2 to 3. And if you drink water right before you eat, you fill your stomach
Okay.
with water, and so it takes less food for you to get that kind of
Okay.
full feeling. So
I have to
there
ask
is
you guys.
actually a
Okay.
reason for it.
I can't accept this. I'm pushing back on the water thing. I am pushing back. Listen to me. But no, seriously, this is interesting to me. That is a lot of water. I've actually been told many years ago by one doctor, and one of your favorite doctors, that mom was like, I'm going to take you to Dr. So-and-so if you're not good.
Oh yes.
But
yes,
his
yes.
son, said to me, you know, drinking a lot of water is overrated. That it just makes your kidneys work harder. It really doesn't do much. The science is still out on that. So it's interesting. I've read a couple other things on the internet. So, but you are living proof. So tell me what your.
Well, I think it can be overdone to where you're flushing out too many electrolytes and salts, potassium. I think it can be overdone, but the way Angel, for her body, she doesn't get muscle cramping. I've never seen her have issues with electrolyte imbalance.
Yeah, do you take electrolytes?
No, I do have a Zip Fizz, which I buy from
Okay.
Costco. I buy the multi-pack from Costco. And
Does that have electrolytes?
It does.
Oh, okay.
Vitamin B, C.
Some vitamins.
Yeah,
and
different
things.
vitamins and things.
And you salt your food during,
Yeah.
So.
I don't have any ongoing health issues, so I don't have to worry about doing any doctor recommended things to make sure my health is in check. But that's kind of my go-to that I have, and that's really the only electrolyte thing
Okay.
that I
Really
would say I
moderation.
supplement with. Otherwise, just normal seasonings on my foods.
Okay, I haven't
And a
had-
lot of your nutrients you'll get from your whole foods.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
I think just monitoring to be blunt, your urine. I mean, if you're peeing and it's relatively clear or light yellow, you're good. You're good. But if it's darker yellow or Mountain Dew, or if the other extreme brown yellow, you're definitely dehydrated. You definitely need to get that up. So Angel's I would say at this extreme of really high water intake. I'm probably somewhere more towards the middle. It would do me good to drink more water like Angel, but I just can't. I can only drink a certain amount and I can force it. But if I'm hungry, I do tend to try to have non-calorie, low-calorie fluids, like with Zip Fizz or just plain water or something to incentivize me to drink. But I think that's a valid point. I think a person drinking gallons, I've heard some people carrying a gallon around and drinking that all the time. I think you can overdo that.
Okay.
But I think monitoring yourself, see where you fit by seeing what that looks like and going by the color.
So just check my urine. What color is it?
But I think what she was saying, I think the point to take away from Angel is drinking some water, before you have your meal to get that feeling of satiety. I think that's definitely holds true for anybody. And it helps with digestion. If you get water in there, helps your body access it with enzymes and things that's going through the digestive tract to be broken down, emulsified. And it's lubricant for passing through the digestive tract. So adequate water is huge, but you don't want to drink so much that you can't function where you have to use the bathroom more often than is necessary.
Right. I've seen that both of you, your only accessory that you always have is a water bottle. And I think that's Kind of cool. Mr. and Mrs. Water Bottle. If you're matching with the water bottles. Okay, I won't
He's
teach
had
you
to
that.
learn that from me, though.
I have. I used to think I was a camel.
He still thinks
That I
he's
would
a
drink
camel
it and
sometimes.
just drink a bunch and then I was good.
Go on a motorcycle
That's
ride
what
and
I'm
not
supposed
drink for like 4 hours.
So
That's
have
what
fun.
I do.
And then
I'm
you'll be
part
like,
camel.
I feel like crap when I get home.
Yeah.
I'm like, have you drank anything today or eaten anything? Well, no.
See, I'm glad he has you. I always say she's way too good
It's
for
all
our
true.
family. How did he get her? I don't know. No, I need to stop being so mean to my brother on camera. Okay, I have another question for you. What do you think of intermittent or long-term fasting? I'll just share my brief experience. I did a week of long-term fasting about a month ago. And I know that that's a 7-day fast. I know it's very important to break the fast in a very healthy way. I never do. I become a crazy animal. So I just eat whatever I can get my hands on when I finally I don't really reach a level where I'm not hungry anymore, and I think it's a psychological problem. So I have realized that a long-term fast for me is not a good idea. But how about intermittent fasting where you eat only within a 6 or 8 hour window?
I would say that I've known people personally who've had really good success with that. I've tried it and actually was able to lose weight with it very briefly. But the problem I have is I get very hungry, and so I start to do what's starve and stuff. So I'll go the period without eating, then I just want to stuff myself.
Oh, yes.
And I get too hungry, whereas if I'm having more intermittent, or I don't want to use the word intermittent, snacks throughout the day, then it moderates my hunger, and I can stay on track. Now, there are some other things with intermittent fasting. I know there's some huge, health benefits. They talk about autophagy and things where your cells kind of do cleanup and things. So I'm not disputing any of that, but I would say that for most of us wanting to stay on track, it's harder to do that. And then one of my big hangups, and I'll let Angel talk about this too. One of my big hangups with it is when we're wanting to spare muscle, you can't. Your biggest source of muscle, your amino acids, which is protein. Protein is amino acids. Is your muscle. So our bodies are really good at breaking down muscle. Yeah. If we need to have energy, or let's say you've lifted weights and you don't have protein intake to support that. You're going to miss an anabolic window for building muscle. And for ladies out there, you're not going to get bulky without, some help from steroids or something. Just a normal person is going to they're not going to get bulky. So I don't want to mislead anybody. But if you're not getting the protein when you need it, eating when you need it, you could miss on a window of gaining muscle. And also you could actually, I think, set the stage for losing muscle.
Okay, so to make sure I understand you, so if you're a type of person that's not a disciplined eater, like if you're someone like me that I eat emotionally and I don't have that discipline yet, so maybe fasting is not for me because it wouldn't lead to long-term success.
Very well said.
And so someone like me would need the consistent protein and things of that,
They say pick the diet that's least restrictive for you. Whether
so
it
true.
be intermittent fasting like the 16-8, whether it be low carbs, the carnivore, just a general balance, something that's sustainable and something that's the least restrictive for you. Mm-hmm. For me, it's just kind of a balance across the board. Counting my macros is the least restrictive, and so that's what I have stuck with. But there is a lot of studies that say, if muscle development and growth and sparing is important, the intermittent fasting is not the ideal diet to support muscle growth and development.
Well, what I've been noticing as you get older, you start looking around to see who's alive at your age and who you look up to. And so, as I said, I'm 55, and I've noticed that a lot of us don't have the muscle mass. And the people that have the muscle mass are the people that look healthy and fit, especially the leg muscles. Mm-hmm. Those studies of people who live to be over 100 years old, it seems that one of the continuing threads, not that I'm an expert on this is just from my watching shows on Discovery Channel, that the leg muscles were so important, your ability to just get up and down and move around.
Yes, absolutely.
And so that's why I really am excited to focus on trying to gain muscle mass. So.
Yeah, muscle mass and strength, and maintain the muscle that you have.
Okay. So can you summarize?
Yeah, so just to summarize, where do you get started? How do you get started with a weight loss journey or changes to your lifestyle? I would say, weigh in first thing in the morning, like I said, after you do all your elimination naked, take before photos, download MyFitnessPal to get some calories tracked, make a list of foods that you're going to need. So always on my grocery list: chicken, ground turkey, vegetables. I have rice and potatoes, eggs, egg whites, have some whey protein on stock, frozen fruits and vegetables, are kind of always things that I have, because there's meal prepping.
What fruits and vegetables do you like to get?
I like bananas. I peel them and freeze them.
Are there any off limits?
I would say no for fruits. I don't have any off-limit fruits personally.
How about vegetables? Sometimes you read, this will do this,
Well,
or this will do that.
Be honest here. You lean on spinach and broccoli. So tell us
It's
what you
preference.
eat.
I do. I have spinach. I have lettuce. I have broccoli, frozen peas, asparagus if it's on sale, peppers, onions. I mean, I don't know that there's any vegetables that are off limits for me. It's more personal preference and what I find on sale. I'll go to.
So you talked about, you talked about nutrition. How about the exercise, getting started? I don't know if we want to get into that quite yet, but exercise is a crucial part of it.
I would say 3 to 4 days a week in the gym with resistance training, and try and just pay attention to how much you're moving. If you don't have any sort of step counter on a watch, it's nice to have that, because it kind of gives you a reminder of how much you're actually moving for the day, and just stay consistent with that.
I kind of like, I heard once, shoot for 30 minutes of structured activity a day. If that's, and steps are a good thing to pay attention to, for sure. I like that. But, I work with, I'm on my feet a certain amount of work. I don't really count that. It's good. It's good for me to be moving around, but 20 to 30 minutes a day, structured activity. And you could do a little more than that, but just to get yourself started. Maybe it's walking for you. Maybe it's walking and weight training. I think ideally we'd like to see everybody, weight training 30 to 40 minutes, 3 to 4 times per week, 30 to 40 minutes or so.
Doesn't have to be real long.
A little aerobic, but 20 to 30 minutes a day, most, 4 to 6 days per week, or even daily would be ideal.
Of movement.
Structured movement. And again, years ago I heard, start so easy that if with any activity, that if somebody sees you, they would laugh. I think that was Covert Bailey. And that's true. If walking's hard, start slow. If jogging's your thing, okay, maybe do jogging. But we'll talk about the specifics of the exercise program coming up. So feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll get into the actual structure of the program. But we're trying to break this up into tidbits so it's not too overwhelming and long.
So calories, you said 10 grams per pound.
Per pound of body weight. So let's say you weigh 160 pounds, 1,600 calories.
Yes. Good starting with protein being around 1 gram per
pound of body weight.
Body weight.
And then fill in with some, quality carbohydrates.
And so keep track of how much you're eating in the MyFitnessPal or in the calorie tracker.
If you're old school, you could also use a notebook.
You could look up every item, and you could write it down and tabulate it. It's so much easier when you have it on. We all have electronic devices that you can just do it on your phone, and then you can add in the next day. But even if you just keep a log of what you're eating for the first week, even if you're not 100% on track, it's better than being completely off track. So progress in that direction is better than...
Progress, not perfection.
There you go.
Progress, not perfection. Yes.
If you're not seeing progress in that first week, hang in there. Sometimes it takes a fine tuning. Like sometimes Angel would start at a caloric, or I'll start at a certain caloric level, and I'll do it a week or two. Sometimes I like to give it a couple weeks to see what it's going to do, and then we make a slight adjustment. But don't just throw out the program work the program a little bit, and there's some fine tuning. And once you find where that sweet spot is, where the weight loss starts to happen, then you just keep riding that horse.
And that's why it's important to record it in one
You have
way or
to.
another. So you can look, and if you say hit a plateau or nothing's working, you could show somebody else, like yourself, and like, what am I doing wrong?
It's accountability too.
Yeah, oh, I know.
And I have to admit, I very rarely, it'd be great, I really would like it if I could lose weight without counting calories. I can say that I've never been really successful losing weight without counting calories initially. Then we can switch to uniform eating, like Angel was saying, where you eat the similar things, and so it's kind of already counting the calories for you. But initially, you have to do it. And I'm going to do it. I'm starting, and I'm going to do it. Alana's going to do it. Angel's, doing it, and just as a starting point.
And I will say that there is someone off camera, one of John's children, who's extremely fit. And she is like a champion wrestler, but so there is like, John is surrounded by fit people. Oh, it's the champion wrestler!
And Grace did a good job.
Look at this fit girl.
Is just a wonderful daughter, and she started wrestling and wanted to be stronger and gain some muscle, and wanted to lose a little weight, just not much because she's healthy already. So she did work this program, and it worked for her. So it can work for all ages.
She trusted what we said.
She trusted what we said.
And she did it.
And she did it.
Yeah. We're proud of you.
We're proud of her.
You should see her. I've seen just videos, and it terrifies me.
All right. Well, we will plan to see you guys next week on Body to Fit. Thanks for tuning in.